We'll see. We may or may not be live with that press of the button.
3.0 is here. Nice.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
see it.
called. That's what I called this thing.
Yeah, I think we're live.
Oh yeah, we
Wait,
are.
where I get to I'm gonna get to the stream. So I can open up the YouTube chat. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get to the stream.
All right. Yeah, I've got both chats ready for comments and feedback. And Nordovik is in.
Nice. I'm gonna like the stream. Make sure to like the stream, folks, on YouTube, because
On YouTube.
that helps.
I've never thought of doing that. Wow, look at that. I liked. Isn't it tacky to like myself? You were probably telling Nordovik to do it, not me.
Well, I did it myself as well.
Okay.
And I think I'm even logged in as the Chess Dojo YouTube account. So it was really really liking our own stream.
The maximum.
Oh, we got Jesse.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, hello.
I probably can't join for too long, but I thought, hey,
Oh,
yeah,
Jesse, check your mic real quick. Are you using the right mic?
over here.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bam.
Bam. I got to put it in front of me for it to work.
Yeah.
Are you confirmed for Vegas yet, Kostya? There's a good question.
Yeah, actually, I'll be playing Vegas this next month, June. Most likely. Most likely. I could still back out, They don't know.
Yeah.
Um Hello, Lumbra, Nightly Saleh. Cool. Yeah, so Jack is supposed to join us in a bit as well. So
Oh,
that'll
cool.
be awesome. Um and yeah, hello everyone. Hello, hello. Let me
Oh, look
watch.
at that. Kostya was going to demote himself with me, but he was too proud. I knew it. I knew he'd
No,
be
I
proud.
I just forgot, honestly. I'll do it. I can do it right now even. You
Yeah.
want to
Let's
see?
show everybody the most important thing to know in the Chess Dojo training program is how to demote yourself when your rating goes down.
Actually, this is important because this came up in a discussion and could come up in a discussion today because a lot of people are asking like, one of my books was moved to like a lower cohort and now it's not in my program. So should I still finish it or do what? Or maybe it was moved to a higher cohort. So what you can do, folks, is you can change your cohort. First of all, here, I assume everyone is seeing, yeah, the screen. You can go to any cohort, and let's say I wanted to go one down and do something in the books here, then I can totally go and check it off. But if you wanted to change your cohort, that's very easily done in the edit profile. And then right here, 23, 24. And I think I gotta save somewhere. Where's the save? I think the Zoom is blocking
It's
it. There
up
we
to
go.
the right for you.
The Zoom was blocking
Yeah.
it. All right, so I'm in the 23 2400 cohort now.
Welcome
are
to
gonna
the
make it
cohort, Jesse and Kostya.
Yeah.
Now I got 50 points to make to 2400.
We'll make it back, buddy. We'll make it back.
Welcome.
That FIDE boost, by the way, I think it's coming. Oh, Jack's here. One thing that, two obvious things about the FIDE boost. We got to figure out the conversion. That's definitely going to happen. I don't know what chess numbers was going to help us, and that kid disappeared. But an interesting thing that some people are talking about is the rate of which the top 100 gains points. So we're 2 months in, and this guy Krasenkoff's obsessed with it. Anyways, so he's tracking it, and right now we've got 7 points of gain in the top 100. And my sense is that will accelerate, right? Like the FIDE boost is going to come kind of slowly for the top, but once it starts coming, I mean, we'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be 100 points for the top 100, in which case Magnus could make 2,900 now. And
Wow,
Kostya could make GM, you know.
that's a lot of points. Chess numbers wasn't that dramatic about it.
I thought
He
he
was
said it was
like,
going to be almost nothing. Like it would barely counter inflation.
What he
Yeah.
said, no, what he said was that at first, for the first couple years, that it wouldn't show up that fast. And now we've got 7 points after 2 votes. So the idea is, right, like it's going to take a while to get to the very top. But we'll see. I don't know if it's already 7 points in 2 months and that accelerates, it should be faster than that. I don't know. Seems like it anyway. Yeah.
well, a couple years is a long time. I don't got that much time to
You got
wait.
plenty of time, buddy. You got plenty of time. You're barely 30, man. Come on.
Yeah,
You still have your hair.
true.
There's a friend of mine here in Baltimore. He turned 30, and then like a week later, I was like, "Oh yeah, hairline's receding. I can see it."
Harsh.
Well, folks, 3.0 is here. We got Jack on the stream,
Yeah.
who is responsible for 99% of the site. Hello, Jack.
Hi. Also, shout out to Noob Master and Autumn for helping out with some fixes.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, folks, we didn't have a ton of planned. We were just gonna show some of the new stuff around the site and hopefully answer questions that people have. So yeah, where should we start?
Let's start with the test, and we could look at that graph. We could start with that graph.
All right.
This graph.
So new feature, freshly released. We got these new tactics tests. Jesse just released a video on these on YouTube. That's pretty short that you guys can watch that explains like how to do them and like how they work and stuff. But yeah, these are cool. I think I can click on the first one. I think it's gonna show me the answers, but I'll try to just click away real fast. Oh, it's still showing the answers. Wait, hold on.
It's okay to show it's showing the answer. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to show the
You
answer.
could put my face over the answer, buddy. That's how you could do it real quick.
You can also resize the window.
Oh,
Make it smaller.
Could do that, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll cover it.
You're okay?
Yeah. I'll catch
All
it.
right. All right,
Go.
here we go. All right. As you guys can see, I got a great score on this test. But I was burned by the 10th problem.
Yeah.
That was my fault. The
10th problem burned Jesse when he tested out the interface.
Yeah, that was my fault. But that's now adjusted. Yeah.
Adjusted. But Coasty and I can never get our points back unless we...
That's true, buddy. But if you take 4 tests, and that one will drop off because it'll be the average of your 3 most recent tests.
Well, it's not even in our cohort,
Also,
so I think it doesn't
count
affect
for us. Yeah.
our rating at all. Yeah, but we're still petty about it.
We still want that point.
So the fit is actually looking better and better. Look at that. It's starting to really cluster. Yeah.
Oh, lots more people have taken it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I better go
So
check
this is
if
test
my
number 1. Yeah,
scores-
this is open to the most number of people by far, and it's the first test. Yeah, so it's going to have the most.
Keep talking, guys. I'm going to go check if my tactics rating would have updated.
So
Yeah, no, this is cool.
yeah. So
yeah, it went up.
what we're gonna have is then at the end of the month, we're gonna have, for maybe even earlier, but we're gonna have tests for 1,000, 1,500, and below 1,000. And tomorrow, maybe Jack can confirm, we amazingly put it together real quick. We have a battery of Polgar tests, and this is ultimately done to appease David. Some other people as well. But ultimately it was about David, because David's been too proud to take the Polgar, to do the Polgar mates. So we have to design a test for him that won't take that long, so he won't have such an attitude about it. And then if he does well, then he
If.
can say, well, I don't have to then do it. You can test out of it. See, you can test out of it, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Yeah.
that's done, you know.
Sounds good.
Wait, so let me find someone. So David, you've got a tactics rating?
I don't think so.
No, not yet. But he's the people who for us, we need to take the 2,000 plus tests.
Yeah.
So go to Nose Knows All. He's been taking some of the tests, or to Jack.
All right.
But Jack
I
actually is
haven't taken any of the
an odd
tests,
case
actually.
because he can't take the test because he's seen them.
There we go. So this is what we're talking about, folks. I guess maybe we should have started here before we went to the test.
Yeah.
This is a new thing. We wanted to have a way to give people like a more realistic tactics rating.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on people's level, the rating is going to be built up of a couple different things. But here we've got Polgar Mates, which is soon going to be replaced by a test, as Jesse was saying. Got your Puzzle Rush survival score, and then your test score on the tactical test that we were just looking at.
Right. And I think Nose is now done at least a couple because when I featured this in the vid I did, and I'm pretty sure it was a slightly lower score than 1897. So he has done more and gotten a more accurate score now. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2110. I mean, that's
It's remarkably close to what his rating is, you know. Remarkably
yeah.
close.
I
And
like
then-
how his Puzzle Rush score is still inflated. That's, but we're working against it. You know, we're balancing the online tactics scores with more.
With
Well,
little
and
testing.
also his Polgar Mate score, that just simply reflects that he did all of them to get that score, and now he's going to have a test which will give a higher score than that. And we'll see. That'll come out. Oh, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how that looks. Yeah.
I think actually doing like tons of Puzzle Rush can lower how good you do on our tactics tests.
Maybe, yeah. So actually,
Yeah,
the
that's
other
true.
thing
Puzzle Rush builds some bad habits.
I want to explain about this thing, and maybe we can do the next one, Kostya, is find someone below 1,700 that has done the puzzles. And there's several of them. While you're finding somebody, the idea was, and this is a little bit David here, but I was in concurrence with it, that after 1,700, the Puzzle Rush 5-minute is no longer so effective. So here you see, this is somebody who hasn't done the test yet, but you can see their Puzzle Rush 5-minute score, their Puzzle Rush survival, Polgar Mates, and that all combines. We hadn't, and so let me just say a couple things. So Puzzle Rush 5-minute, what I really discovered and really liked about it was that it's very consistent with people's ratings. You know, and so first of all, after 1,700, it just turns into a blitz game. It's not interesting. But below that, it's really good. And as I said, it really measures your tactical skill really well at those levels. We did have a problem where some people haven't put in their most recent Puzzle Rush score, and I think, and Jack is going to tell us that this has already happened, that we can go and automatically retrieve it, but maybe that hasn't happened yet, Jack.
Yeah, I haven't added that in yet.
Anyway, so that's what we're going to do eventually. The Puzzle Rush survival we can't retrieve, so that's something people have to enter manually. And the Puzzle Rush 5-minute is like, let's say you get a score of 1450, say. That means that you have an average. Your Puzzle Rush score is the average of what those players at that level have. So it's kind of cool. It really measures where you are with that. But Kostya, maybe let's find somebody with a test. Forgetting who has them.
Yeah, let me go
it's a
back
bunch of
to
people who've done it.
scoreboard.
So somebody
Maybe
under
Shattered
7,
Nirvana.
maybe.
No test yet. Let's see.
Kevin,
You're
maybe?
saying
I think
Kevin is over
Kevin's-
1,700 though.
Oh, yeah, true.
Jack, have you taken any tests or you've just seen?
I took the first one, but I just immediately finished it without actually putting in any answers. So I could check
Gotcha.
the graph.
Let's see, do we have? I don't have test scores here. Um, maybe bid Colin? No, no tests yet. With the 1600 crew.
Yeah, and so we just put this out, so it'll be a while before we get loads of people. Okay, I got somebody. Matt Chess, who
Match
is
chess.
in the 15 to 1600. You can just search Matt Chess.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there he is there. Did really well, dude.
Wow.
Did really well.
Destroyed
And so
the
what's
test.
what's really cool about this now is that he will be encouraged to then do the Polgar mates to get a true score, because that Polgar mate score only reflects how many he's done. Once he does the test, it'll reflect his actual skill. And then the Puzzle Rush 5 minute, he can, update that as well as the survival, and then he'll get a really clean we'll see if he's actually 1927. Also, once he does more tests, we'll see if he's able to, keep that level of 1927.
For tests to display a number like that, must the player have done 3 tests?
No, only one test.
Only
But
one
that
test would be
test-
enough for the number to come up?
Yep, but the test has to have at least 10 people that have taken it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And Jack, you want to tell people about the colors on your tactics rating?
Yeah, so if it's red, that means you're below your cohort level. If it's yellow, you're in the range for your cohort, and if it's green, then you're above your cohort.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you can imagine, folks, that ultimately, if we can develop robust and meaningful ways of measuring your current tactical skill, endgame skill, opening skill, strategic skill, then you could look at a dashboard of your different ratings and see right there at a very sort of gross level where you're strong and weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about that. 'Cause you'll be able to see like your own metrics, and they'll be based on, let's say, like real chess stuff. And yeah, for me, it's really the thing about rating is that it's always the last thing that goes up when you're actually improving. And while you're working, there's few like really signals that your level is going up. So you just have to kind of have faith in the process that you're doing the right thing and hope that it's going to pay off one day. And then at some point, yeah, you have a good tournament and you realize, oh, I guess I got better. So it's kind of nice to have like assessments along the way of where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like I'm working on learning Costa's King's Indian repertoire, right? So I'm like learning a new opening and I'm playing some sparrings, right? And I'm going through the model games and I've done all the little puzzles that he gave us to solve and stuff, right? But I'm still wondering to myself, like, am I ready to play this, right? Am I ready to bring this out? What's my King's Indian rating right now? I want to know, how much more work should I do, or should I just bring this out? Should I work on something else next? So if ultimately Costa could figure out a way to test somebody's King's Indian level, right? And then I could I could take his course, right? And then after I've done his course, there would be some kind of assessment. And we have to think about what that would entail. But imagine there's some kind of assessment. I can be like, oh yeah, this is good and ready. Let me go back to, working on my king and pawn endings until this tournament, and stop adding to my King's Indian.
Yeah. No, I was actually thinking about just making a test out of these puzzles.
Yeah.
Because yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go so far as to like a King's Indian score, but
That would be deep, right?
opening score for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, King's Indian score. I don't know.
You could do it. It's just a lot of work to do it for each to to do it, but you could imagine what it would be,
You actually,
right?
yeah, it could just be the test. Like that could just be your score.
It'd be a
Just
selection of puzzles
whatever you
like this
get.
test. You could add another
Yeah.
component. You could be like, like upload your last 10 games, your last 10 sparrings in this opening or something like that. And then it would just like check your performance rating in the sparrings or something like that, add a little something to it.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if we've discussed this yet, but I was thinking for the end game score that sparring could be part of it. You spar with another member, and then you somehow enter those results, and that gets counted for your rating.
Right. Okay, you guys, listen up. This is where, if you're just joining us, it'd be a little bit hard to understand what we're saying. So there's a dream going on here. We have created these tests, and so now people have gotten tactics scores. Tomorrow we're releasing this Polgar mate thing, so it's like really going to be complete tomorrow. Then there's a big dream going on where we have positional puzzles, which will always have some kind of tactics in there, and that will give you your positional rating. Oh my God. Then there's an end game rating. Oh my gosh. And right, the end game rating could be a combination, and we haven't worked it out, but it's definitely there as a fixed dream of the puzzles plus sparring. And the same thing with the strategy stuff, because we can use our middle game sparring positions to assess that as well. Yeah, it's there. It's beautiful. And it's like we have the perfect marriage of 3 chump players and Jack. So we got some institutional chess knowledge plus the tech genius. And oh my God, it's working, man. We're doing some things. We are doing some things, dude. Yep.
Yeah. So this is very exciting. And so by the way, folks, we have a free account that is available. You just go to the website, chessdojo.club. You can make a free account and you can actually just try, I think, the first test. You have to be in this rating range to have access to the test. So it's currently only for 1500 to 2000, but soon we'll be adding 1000 to 1500 and 0 to 1000. And then you'll be able to try the first test in your rating kind of band. And yeah, you could see for yourself. I don't think we talked much about how the tests are actually structured, right?
No, we should. And I just
I'm gonna open
posted
one up again.
in both the chats the link to the YouTube video that I did about the tactics. You can watch that if you want a little bit of a deeper dive into it. But we're doing the deeper dive now too.
Yeah, watch the video.
Right now I've got it looking, Kostya, like if anyone goes to our website, you'll just pop up live Kostya support on the site.
Kostya support, that's right.
That's a good feature. Yeah, maybe in a couple months, if we can just get like an AI version of me to just tell people to examine their options, think deeply, take their time. Just repeat those 3 things. Look for forcing moves.
Yeah. We've swapped the URLs as well, right? Is that part of this issue, Jack, with the problem database?
In DL Borger, we do have a place to submit new puzzles. Kostya, where do they do that? We've got a couple places, honestly.
We had a form. Let me try to find.
Yeah, we have a lot of dead links now from when we swapped the domains that we got to go back and clean up.
That's right, you guys. We also switched websites to really have one website to rule them all. And it's going to make our lives easier. But it did mean that things were shifted around a little bit.
Oh, so the chessdojo.club/problem database, that link's not working anymore?
Yeah, because that doesn't exist on the new site. But if you changed it to chessdojo.shop, it would probably work.
I have the link here. It's, it's a Google Doc link. I'm going to post it in the chats and stuff. But that's a good question because we need to make it more accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
That was something, by the way, that we created ages ago when we had the dream, which is still a dream, but to create a Dojo problem database. And that document, for example, that Google Doc, it's a little bit tedious. It needs to be streamlined. And then once people submit it, we kind of have to go through there and cull the problems and organize them. So it is a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin James, in general, if you're not sure whether or not a puzzle will work, you can submit it and we won't blindly put it up, right? We'll be reviewing and deciding which ones we want to keep. But me personally, I like positions with 0 solutions, 1 solution, 2 solutions. Not a fan of like there's 7 different moves, but like each move is like 0.2 of a pawn less good than the previous one, and it's just not clear where to cut off the alternate solutions. So
You like 0 solution puzzles?
yeah, love them.
I don't like them. Not a fan.
I thought you were in agreement on using them.
Oh, they're a necessary evil, but I don't enjoy them.
Oh, you don't enjoy them. Okay.
Yeah, they're not fun.
we have one in the sample that's on screen right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Show them, Kostya. Show them one of these problems in the sample.
So this one's kind of a bogey.
Yeah. White to play. Shirukast, I think PayPal is a payment option. That's the one thing that's still housed in the old site, right, Jack?
Yes, you have to. It's kind of tedious to use PayPal, but you have to go to the old site, create an account, pay with PayPal, then come to the new site and create an account using the same email.
Yeah. Exactly, Kevin James. So this position is an example of it. This position is here so that somebody would go, oh, queen h7, king h7, rook h3, I've been doing my puzzle rush. They bang out queen h7, and then they get no points. And the correct answer to this position is any move that doesn't hang the knight on e7. So you can play knight f5, knight d5, rook b to e1, knight takes c6. Any of those moves gets you credit, even though there's a difference between which one is best or not. We originally wondered, like, is there a way to just like put no move or like type in there's no answer? But the easiest way with the reasonable way with what we had so far was to just create a list of acceptable alternate moves. And that's how it is right now. So when you get to a position like this and you realize that queen takes h7 doesn't work, then you could spend some time calculating knight g6 or queen g6 like Marshall or something. But if at some point you realize like nothing works, then you're supposed to just play a move that you would actually play in a game here. And I think that as I've done it, it's quite lenient on what alternate move is acceptable. The key is not to blunder into a tactic that isn't a tactic.
That's
Maybe
the cruelty of the dojo
sample.
right there.
What's that?
I said that's the cruelty of the dojo.
Cruelty, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, so here's how the test works. So you get a series of positions, you get a time limit, and then it's up to you to make the right moves on the board. So let's say, for example, I'm like, oh, queen takes h7, checkmate. So nothing happens. It doesn't tell me like, oh, good move, oh, wrong move. It's just like I have to finish the line, right? So let's say king takes h7 and then rook h3. That's going to be my answer. And then I'll just go to the next one. And then here I'll input the solution. And maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I'll just blitz out my answer. But the point is, folks, you got to input all the lines yourself, which is really cool. The way we suggest doing it is to calculate first and you're not supposed to just analyze on the board. You're supposed to calculate and then use the notes as like your solution. And then once you're done, you hit the button, you get graded, and your grade depends on how many correct lines you put in your annotations. So this one, for example, we can do in a sec. I'll give folks a chance to try to figure it out for themselves.
Problem number 2, everybody. Come up with your full solution before you start putting some moves in or whatever.
Oh wait, hold on. Just to be clear, so this wasn't the answer. So as David was saying, this one doesn't work. Just so it's clear, as the bishop is hitting the rook.
Yeah.
But if you put any other move like knight f5 or knight d5, then white is okay. But here's an important note about the test. Note how I put 3 moves in for white, so you can't just guess a bunch of moves and then hope one of them matches a solution. You have to promote the one that you actually are going to be submitting, and then the others won't count, right? Because you gotta choose one move. When it comes to the opponent's responses, then you can do multiple moves. So, for example, rook e3. Let's say we'll do this one, and if you want to put something else in, then of course all these variations count. A lot of problems will have multiple variations that you have to find, multiple key defenses. This is like one of the advantages over your typical like online tactics trainer that only tests you on like one possible solution. It's often not the critical solution. It's usually just one where there's like one computer idea and then that's what they want to show. But for these problems, they're a little bit more realistic. Like in real chess, when you're calculating a combination, you have to see through all the variations, and the more you see, the better.
Yeah. And to get points, you don't need to input every single possible legal move, right? Like if you play knight takes knight and your opponent has 2 recaptures, 1 in-between move, and then 37 legal moves that make absolutely no sense and like hang rooks and stuff, you don't need to include all of those other moves. You know, it's the sidelines are going to be within reason.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. So let's say I go rook b8 check. Just as an experiment. Do I need to include this move here to get points? Or this one?
No, you don't have to do that one.
Hopefully not.
I think when David sent me that problem, you did, but I took it out because I thought it was.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, Sabina, thank you for raiding.
Sabina, hello.
We've been trying to recruit Sabina to the dojo for a while, dude. We're like, Sabina, come on over. Come on. Yep. By the way, one thing I should say about this is about tomorrow. So tomorrow we're launching the Polgar mate thing tests. And one thing that is different from these ones is because the editor will show you when it's mate. We're like, no, so you can't just move around until mate. So it's going to be touch move for the Polgar problems. And that'll be, it's a little problematic because, you know, if you got used to this one and you were used to promoting stuff, you got to just realize that when you do the Polgar mates, you're not going to have the ability to promote variations. So hopefully we'll make that clear, you know, when in the sample, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, mate in one. You gotta make your first move count. Okay, and then we had, this is a fun one. Maybe I'll just leave this one up for a little while.
While we chat about something.
Yeah. So yeah, folks, if you join us from the raid, we're showing our site. This is our Dojo training program. It is a complete training program for all levels, 0 to 2400 plus. And this is one of the new features we're highlighting that just came out with recently. These are the tactics tests. It's like a new way to work on your tactics and both work on your tactics and assess where you're at. Because let me go back to the chart again. I feel like the chart is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like All right, it's cool that we have like a great way to work on your tactics that kind of solves for some of the problems in the online tactics. But then like the more people that take these tests, the kind of better for everyone because so the first test is available to everyone and you can make a free account on chessdojo.club and then take the first test. Currently we have them for players between 1500 and 2000 and 2000 plus, but soon we're going to have 1000 to 1500 and 0 to 1000. And once you take your test, so in order to make a free account, we ask you to put one of your ratings in. It could be OTB rating, it could be chess.com or Lichess rating. We then kind of normalize that to your approximate FIDE rating so that everyone is on the same scale. And then the more people that take these tests, the more you'll be able to see like where you kind of fit in with everyone else. And this chart is cool because you can kind of tell by the colors that it sort of works. It's like more red on like the left side, and then as you go up, it gets like bluer, which is I think the 1819, 1920.
Maybe we should adjust the colors actually, so that because you have kind of yellow on both sides, and maybe actually we could fit them to our new dojo icons that we're creating in those colors, right? And then we would have a full like karate belt system that would be a little bit more clear. We just see it's easy for us to create cool ideas like that, but then Jack has to do the work.
Well, it's easy to change the color of these dots, so that's not
okay.
wouldn't be a problem. You can also in that drop down, if you wanted to filter and see how everyone in your cohort did, you could choose a specific
Right.
Yeah,
That's super
that's
cool.
so cool. All right.
Yeah.
Let's imagine that we're in the 1500 to 1600 cohort, Kostya.
Yeah, I'd also want to see like just the 1500s to 2000s as well.
You can select multiple cohorts.
Can I select multiple? Oh, genius. Look at that. Now this is a sight. All right.
Oh yeah, look at that. They're tracking. Mhm.
That's cool. Wait, so this is me. This is me. Okay. Okay. Nice. Then this is all right, overachiever.
Overachiever, yeah.
And then it kind of fits. Yeah, like the 1920, like the blues or the light blues are kind of the highest ones, and then the oranges are kind of next to that, and then you get more yellows, and then the light blues, the 15, 16s at kind of towards the left side.
Yeah, I think once we change the colors, it will be a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good question, Tom. Are the tests going to be added to the training plans? Yeah. Let me go to the training plan. So they're going to be part of the tactics category. And they're going to be down here, this task called Dojo Tactics Test. And then some instructions, take 3 tests to help assess your tactics rating. And there you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cool.
Fabio just subscribed. Welcome. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we'll lay out an entire training plan with like the books you need to read and the task you need to do.
Yeah.
And then people will
We'll say,
join and subscribe
Yeah.
and they'll be like, hey, what if I did something else?
yeah, what if I played 100 Blitz games, got a frozen yogurt, and then put my feet up in front of Netflix with a chess book as my pillow? Do you think maybe you could make that exception for me?
Okay, I think we should go to the games editor because this says there's been a lot of new stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is one of David's games that he uploaded to the site.
Nice.
And in general, this games database is pretty huge. Actually, let me go back to
click
it.
through it. I've been waiting for 2 months for you to see this game.
Oh, God. No,
So
David,
close.
I have seen the game. I have looked at it. I
Oh,
just
nice.
yeah, we just haven't discussed it. And no, I would like for you to show me the game at some point
Okay.
because it looked very calm. Okay, Jack was saying that because of your annotations in this game, he added a feature where you can now collapse analysis because your analysis to one of these moves was so deep.
It was here, move 16 for black.
So Rook FC8, yeah. So already it was.
I was
Look how.
scrolling through it and I was like, oh my God, I can't read this.
Yeah, this is like remarkable. I mean, look how small this like little scroll
Whoa.
thing is. That's pretty incredible. Um, so wait, now let me see how to.
There's move 17. You made it through.
So it has to be a move that has variations under it. So scroll down to like see those vertical lines under like 19b4. Hover over one
Hmm.
of those lines, the
Yeah.
vertical lines, and then it should turn blue and you can collapse it.
Or oh, the lines. Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang,
No, that is
Jack, you've
very
been doing
helpful.
things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. And then we got three variations. Nice.
Jack,
So,
can we actually show them the time graph too? And I actually want to
mhm.
have a small improvement. Maybe we could just suggest.
Oh, there's no time on this one.
Oh, okay. We'll just show it on a different one.
Yeah, yeah, I can find. Um,
Did you not input your times at all, David?
No, I typed them in. So I was still doing my analysis on a chess.com analysis board. So it's just like
Mm,
typed into the comments text. It's not
got it.
as information in our game viewer.
Yeah. All mine have I put the time in.
Yeah, Jesse's.
By the way, so actually, so this thing that
oh,
Jack
not this one.
we're about to show. Oh, oh wait, do it
They didn't
different.
have it.
That was weird. I don't know why that was. What?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah.
Because it was before those games were before Jack did the time editor. So you
Oh,
got to do a more recent one. Because before I was doing it like David did.
Yeah.
I see.
There it is. Whew.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And the look at that time graph, dude. That's a pretty amazing one. So actually, first I want to praise it. It's so cool to see it at a glance. And now when I'm doing the graduate shows, it's really useful because we have a real plague of people who aren't taking their time. And then so at a glance, I can see what's going on. And especially when dojo players actually are much better than the random online players, but you play some random online player and they're just not going to think at all. You know, they'll have 30 minutes plus 30 or something. And they're just like their graph will just go straight up, man. It will go straight up. Okay, Jack, here was my thing that I think we can make a mild improvement on. Whenever I look at this, even though I've done it so many times, my brain still can't figure out which one is white and black. So I know it should. I know my brain should know. But I was thinking maybe there's a way to make it like if we change the background color or something, then we could actually do a white and a black or something, or am I just being obstinate here?
I think it makes sense. I think we just need to pick like the right shade of black for dark mode and the right shade of white for light mode.
Right. Right.
Really, Jesse, Bishop B7, great move, exclam.
Uh, I didn't do that.
Oh, you didn't do that?
Boom.
Curious. Um,
This
okay.
was actually, by the way, this was a test game. This is not an actual annotation. This was a
Oh, I
test
see.
game that I was showing somebody, and I was showing how the clock feature worked. So this is just some random game that I pulled in to do the time thing.
Yeah, Kostya was going to
Gotcha.
ask where he could click to expand the analysis because there weren't that many very.
Right. Yeah, this is like a 3-minute game or something I played. I just brought it
Oh,
in
I see. Because
for
yeah, the
other
time does say
purposes.
3 minutes, so you
Yeah.
just like pull this from chess. Oh yeah, 2640. Yeah, you pull this from chess.com, of course.
Yeah.
2640.
Yeah.
Um, gotcha. All right. Well, the comments is also super cool.
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna have to go to a lower cohort. Let's see.
Okay, I want to just praise it one more second with this time. So imagine for decades now, I've been doing game annotation, and then in a chess-based file, I write manually down the times, but I then, you write it manually down. There's no graphic representation of it. It's just kind of like a dumb piece of data. And I asked them forever at ChessBase. I was like, dude, can you get it together? And they just wouldn't even respond. And then Jack did it in like a day, dude. And it's like, wow, amazing.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
Jesse kept sending them like video
I
files
did.
in their
I was
email.
like-
Magnus, buddy, can we just get a feature here where we
That's right. Yeah. This is a great example of somebody who didn't use their time here too.
Right. No, here I believe so the dojoer is white. The person annotating this game is white, and they
Right.
used all their time.
Yeah.
Their opponent did not, and they happened to win the game. I'm just pointing out for everyone.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
Imagine that.
So yeah, time graph is cool, and then so this new comments thing is new. It might be hard to find a game with comments, but
Oh no, there's a bunch of ones with comments.
okay.
When I do the graduate shows, it's very like almost all those people graduating have not about 50% have now games with comments on them.
Gotcha. Maybe I should do.
You could go newsfeed and then look at some graduates, I guess, too.
Yeah. Let's see. Paul Sherman.
The graduate show, I need help, you guys, because it's starting to be so hectic. Like right now, we already have 26 graduates for the coming Wednesday and Thursday shows. And dude, it's not Wednesday or Thursday. And so if you got, let's say 40, that's about 5 hours, because I do one for the Wonder 1000 and then the other show, dude. And then I'm just cracked by the end of those 2 days, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to help out.
Maybe these people should start watching Netflix and stop following the program.
So, for example, I just clicked on this Guga Hedge and his most recent game, and somebody commented there. Very simple comment, just one comment. But people are doing it, and it's really cool. You can comment on the move, on the game, Yeah.
And is it now the case that you could send a link to your game to somebody who's not in the Dojo program and they could click on the link and check out your game?
Yeah, that works. You don't need an account to view a game.
They don't need an account. They could just go check out your game.
Yep.
We've also got this database thing. I don't think we've shown this in a while. But you can see how often the position comes up in our Dojo database, which is like all the games that people have uploaded throughout all the levels. And you can select minimum cohort, if you don't want to look at higher rated players' games because they're too high level. You just want to look at like what people in your kind of rating range play for whatever reason. Let's say 6 to 400. Then you can see the results based on that. And then we got the Lichess database as well, which is going to have a ton more games if you're curious. So this is super cool.
Show the subscribe as well. If you click that bookmark icon.
Yes, this is very cool. I know what this does, but Jack, maybe you could explain it.
Yeah, so go ahead and click on it. And Now, if you go to a position, you click this and you choose your settings, and then you click subscribe in this dialog. Whenever a new game is posted in the database, you'll get notified if it contains this position. So if there's a position that you're interested in and you want to see what other people are saying in their analysis about it, you can subscribe to it, and then every new game you can go and look at.
And if there's a new game, I'll get a notification.
Yep, up there it'll appear.
I did not even
Nice.
know that was possible. So if I'm playing the aggressive repertoire, I can subscribe to certain variations, and then when my fellow dojoers play that opening, I can see how they're going.
Exactly.
That's insane. By the way, Kosti, I sent you a link in Discord to a game from Luis.
Oh, great. Oh, that has comments on it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll
or
open it
later.
up.
It's there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say, so for this feature, I think maybe when we have like our own opening trainer kind of thing, it can be part of that. But I think a cool way to do it would be to be able to kind of like set your opening repertoire. So you just say like, all right, I'm an E4 player against Caro-Kann, I go advanced, against Sicilian, I go open, and then you would just automatically subscribe to all those positions. So if it shows up like in anyone's games, you would kind of see all the games that like match your repertoire.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. Yeah, Nordvik, I think you're just notified. Yeah. Oh, Jack answered that. Okay, let me open up this game.
There's an interesting question, Jack. How does somebody unsubscribe if they change their repertoire and they're no longer playing the two knights, now they're playing the advanced?
Yeah, right now we don't have a page where you can see all of the positions you're subscribed to. I do need to add that. Currently, you have to go to the position and then you re-click that bookmark icon, and that will unsubscribe you.
Okay.
But it
So
does
it's
require
possible.
you to know
It's already
which
possible.
positions you're subscribed to already.
No repertoire changes. DL Borger.
Yeah, I think if anything, we'll just add on to those. I don't really see us changing them too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a game with some comments here. And this is new and super cool. So for people that upload their games to the Dojo database, we were saying earlier, you can now have games that are unlisted, so they're kind of private until you decide to publish them, and then you can send them to anyone. So if you just want like your friend or your coach to look at it, you can do that. Once you're ready to publish your game, then the whole dojo can see it, and then a big part of the program is that people will actually, like high rated players, actually go and look at your game and like offer feedback, not just on like the moves that you played, like okay, don't push pawns in front of your king and stuff like that, but also like on your annotations, like oh, you should go deeper into these lines, you should look for more resources, and that's been an amazing part. We see some comments here that people have left on various moves. Laurent is one of our superstars when it comes to looking at lower rated players' games. Shout out to Laurent. There are others as well, of course. Let's see, what did he say? You've done well so far, but surprisingly, white has compensation for his pawn because the D pawn such a cramping effect on your game. Nice, interesting. And yeah, so this is a really cool part of the program. Depending on your level, we ask you to both look at players below you and then also seek help from players above you. And in general, people are very willing to help in the Discord, which is always super cool to see.
Kosti, can you go to the first move of Luis's game and show
Yeah.
the comment above the first move?
Yeah.
I want to strongly commend. I know Luis is here, so commendation to Luis and like
Shout out to Luis.
a thing for everyone else to see here. But like, I think it's really, really great to have like a focus to a game annotation. So having like a kind of comment before the first move about these are the questions I was investigating, or these are the lessons I learned, or these are like the key points. I think that's fantastic to do that. Both it'll help you do the work, and also for anyone reading your annotation, it'll help them to situate themselves in, let's say, maybe later on there's going to be variations that they have to collapse or expand or something like that. This can help them to understand what they're looking at there.
Oh, I had a question for Jack. Can free tier users, do they have access to um upload games for themselves?
Yes, free tier users can upload games and share them via the URL, but they can't publish them to the list that the subscribers can.
Nice. Okay. And then can people comment on their games? Like if they're logged in?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay, folks. So you can make a free account, start uploading your games, like maybe use Lichess Studies or something, which have a limit, 64 games. Then you got, so what, you're only going to play 64 games? So, more than 64 games. And you can then share those games with someone else if you want feedback on them, or if you just want like a collection of your own annotated games, then you can just use the site and put those in.
We had a question about any updates on the repertoires, and I think that just took a back burner for the last couple months because we were doing so much with this 3.0 and the dream of the 3.0. There's still a lot of stuff to do, especially if we push for the end game and the middle game stuff, which I'm really pumped on. But we haven't forgotten the opening stuff.
Yeah. But there's so many things to do, and I think we're going to pump out some more tests in the near future.
Yeah. For sure. Mm-hmm.
Cool, guys. I gotta run soon.
I gotta go too, but it's been fun. David, are you gonna stay on?
If everybody else runs, I don't know.
Nah.
Approaching midnight here, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can certainly stick around for a little bit and answer questions people have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what you could do, boss? There's a bunch those games that still got to be looked at. You could go review those games, for example. You and Jack could review the games.
Games that have to be looked at. Which ones?
It's in the dock, and there's 3 of them still left, and I blew it the other day because I forgot about it. Then there's also
viewer games.
The viewer games.
Yeah. Yeah, I could go review a game in the dock, sure.
We can't just, well, I was a miracle that I was able to step in like this here, Lear. Give me a break, it's a miracle. I've been running around doing crazy things all day. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm pumped though. I just want to say I am super pumped for this Polgar thing to come out tomorrow. And with it, we're going to hopefully see, to me, the big test of concept is, are enough people in the dojo going to be doing it so that when I go, let's say graduation show or looking at people's profile, that the tactics rating looks close to what their actual rating is. How accurate will it be? And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. Of course, the problem, I don't know if it's a problem, but if you're like one of those people that like buy a gym membership but never go, then we're going to be looking at those profiles, and right, it's going to be like, tactics rating of, much less than probably what they actually are rated.
Well, you won't be looking at those profiles because they won't be graduated.
That's partly true too. Yeah. All right, you guys, I got to run, but that was fun.
All right.
Yeah, Jesse.
Cool. See you, Jesse.
Thank you, Lumbra, for the gifted subs. Thank you, St. Louis Chess Club, for the raid. We're just showing our site here, which has recently celebrated its 2nd birthday, entering its 3rd year. I got the new tactics rating up here. This is Thorbital's. He's on 2 of 3 tests so far. and he's got some great graphs. Awesome stuff. Um, but yeah, I should probably run as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to as well.
All
Gotta
right.
get to work. This
Cheers.
Polgar test.
Cheers, you guys. I'll
Cool.
see you later.
Thanks, Jack. All right. See you, David.
See you.
Okay, so hang on, folks. I'll just close Zoom down for a moment and then switch over here and what's this thing? Get rid of that, turn this on. Boom. All right. That's how it's done. So Matt had a question. What's this new deal with the Polgar mates? So the idea, Matt, is that for the tactics rating, we had set up a tactics rating that was based on like a couple factors, depending on what cohort you're in. But in several of the cohorts, it was Polgar mates, puzzle rush score, and then our tactics test, right? And then it would sort of average the three together. But and the Polgar mates was just how much progress you've done on the Polgar mates for your cohort, right? Like if your cohort was supposed to be up to problem 1200, were you at problem 800 or 1000 or 1200, right? But now we're going to have a tactics test like what you've done on sort of more general our tactics. We're going to have a tactics test that's specifically just Polgar mates. And so if you do well on that test, you can get a high Polgar rating averaged in without having done the whole book, right? It depends on the level cross online. At the low levels, there's Puzzle Rush 5 minutes and Puzzle Rush Survival. And at the highest levels, there's no Puzzle Rush. And at the medium-high levels, there's Puzzle Rush Survival. But the 5-minute cuts out after the 16 to 1700 cohort. And then there's like a 300 more points where it counts your survival score. Yeah. So that, Matt, is an idea that they just had yesterday in the weekly Dojo meeting, and that will be released by tomorrow. So it's an edit on what we came out with. So, okay. So that's going to be something worth working on a little bit for you, Matt, right? If you see that you're below the target by a bit on that piece. But hopefully in a day or two, you'll see where you are in the Polgar mates and know whether or not that is something to work on as well or not. What you can see, folks, is that, we're not at a professionality level where we have beta tested every aspect of Dojo 3.0 extensively before we release it, right? We release the thing and then we get feedback from you guys, and then we're, working on, tweaking and changing and so forth, what we've got. So feedback on the tests will be very useful because we're still writing more tests. Like we've released the feature, but we still have a bunch of tests somewhere in the docket, somewhere in the production queue, from we're just starting another test to a test that's like mostly been done, but we're still bouncing it back and forth between each other and editing it, etc. And so if you've got feedback on the tests, that's good for us to get. And we appreciate that for sure at this stage. All right. Games. Always want a high. We've got a page that tells you what bracket you should be in based on your rating. So whether you have an over-the-board tournament rating or an online rating, it will adjust whatever rating you have to compare it to FIDE ratings and tell you the right cohort for you. I'm looking for something. Sorry, folks. Hang on a moment. Okay, I think I can find that. Yep, found it. All right. See if this will work. Yep. All right, I found the thing. Now let's see what the question was. There was another question here. Lumbra, one last question. I'm quite unhappy with the cohort I'm supposed to be in rating-wise. Not the people. My OTB national rating is 1118. My lead test rating is provisional. The tactics requirement for puzzle rushes are way out of reach right now. Should I consider to go one or more cohorts lower? I also saw that some endgame algorithms of lower cohorts are totally new for me. Generally, you should trust where you're at, probably. Lumbrud, your national rating of 1100, did it get, which is, I imagine, German, does it correspond to 1100 FIDE or 1000 FIDE? Like, are you in 1000 to 1100 or 1100 to 1200? A-Win Chess, if you've taken no tactics tests yet, take at least one tactics test and see how you fare. Yeah, it'll also help make your tactics rating more accurate for your cohort. If you haven't taken any of our tests yet, then your tactics rating is not yet accurate. So we would recommend that anyone take 2 or 3 tactics tests to get an accurate assessment. And then based on that assessment, you'll see whether or not you need to work on it more. We have more tests and we'll keep adding more tests. So we'll have more tests that you can do later. Alex, the first test should be unlocked and the one after it locked? No? Like for me, what I see if I go to tactics, tests here under material, tactics tests, you see number 1 and number 2 are open, and then they're locked after that. Maybe my screen capture is not good enough to show that. Hang on, let's see. What? It's not showing things properly. What window is this showing? It's not showing my window at all. Huh? Hang on, folks. What's going on with this thing? Let's see if we can't do better. Okay, let's see if this works now. So then if I go here, all right, now you can see the tactics tests. Like so. Okay. So you can see that for me, these 2 top tests are unlocked. One I've done, which unlocked 2, and then the other ones show as locked. No, it's an actual bug of some kind, Lumbra. Yeah, thanks for checking in on that. It's some kind of bug where like the window gets confused when I open or close OBS, and the window does or doesn't exist or is minimized or something. So yeah, that's an amazing score now, right, Stan? I was upset because I got like 100%, but there was a bug in the test. Whoops. Let me go back before people see it. There was a bug in the test, so it gave me 53 out of 54 because there was like an error, but that's what we're testing them for. And I was like, Urgh. But now apparently we've adjusted the max score on the test. So even though I can never get that 54th point back, now that the score's out of 52, 53 has become a better score than before. Sadly, I don't even have extra screens here, Lumbra. just one teeny tiny little display. Here I've got the test for 2000 plus available. And then here's a game to look at. Shall we look at a game, folks? It comes from... it doesn't come from Revision. I think Charlie guessed what Rev was short for once upon a time. It is short for a longer word. Let's check out this game here, shall we? Put it over here. And then open up their comments. Alex is very close now. All right, let's get into this game. Yeah, Liard, I got this Mac for myself last summer, and I'm beyond disappointed. It's complete trash, honestly. The amount of money I spent for this thing, and it's considerably worse than a PC that I bought 6 years ago for less money than it. Also a laptop. It's mind-boggling. Yeah, Tom, I could address that for a moment before we get into this game. So when we created the list of tasks, the idea was if you do every single item in this task list, you'll be able to go from, let's say, 800 to 900 or 1600 to 1700, right? But of course, everybody's a little bit different, right? And so there are going to be some people with more... I'm not going to get into a long side tangent, but let's just for the sake of being able to get through this conversation faster, let's just say that someone could have more or less like talent or aptitude for learning chess or some aspect of chess at some point in their life, right? It could even be two of the same person at different ages or in different life situations or whatever, right? Or it could be two different people with different levels of talent, period, or whatever it is, right? So there's somebody their rating's going to go from 800 to 900 before they finish the tasks. There's somebody else who might do all the tasks and not get there, right? So how do we try to set the amount of work? Like what percentage of people were we basically trying to capture, right? And to my mind, we set it so that the top 95% by talent, aptitude, etc., would be able to graduate by the time they'd finished the work. Meaning that there will be like 5% of people who, for one reason or another, will get through every single task in the training program we've made for their level and not graduate. Now, Jesse and Kostya are obviously going to have slightly different senses of what that number is than me even, right, Tom? Like, we agree on like the big philosophical pieces of how to train and how to get better. But we always have little disagreements about, nitty gritty. So, Kostya or Jesse might think that the tasks are enough for 92% of people or 98% of people or 85% of people to graduate, right? Okay. So Jesse's concept is that once somebody's gotten 80% through the material without graduating, we want to already step in and give them some kind of a boost, right? So previously, one idea had been like, if you do every single thing and you don't graduate, then we will give you personalized, get you out of that cohort that you're stuck in, right? Come in and help. But informally, Jesse's already been doing some of that just by doing his top of the cohort show, right? Where he goes cohort by cohort and just looks who's done a lot of work and then reviews what they're doing. And that can be like a big boost. Some of those people are graduating, no problem anyway, but if some of them are maybe not graduating, then for those people, that's going to be an extra important or valuable boost. But now, he wanted to kind of formalize it that once you've gotten 80% of the way through a cohort without graduating, we were going to come in and help make sure you made it. 80% done and not having graduated yet is not, not an atrocious or horribly worrisome point, but it's also nice to come in and help people before they're really like, this isn't working at all, so why not? Why not help people as long as we can, right? Like, there's all these things we'd like to do for people, and sometimes we don't have enough. And to answer somebody else's question about what do we do when we get to like 100 graduations a week and this and that as it like keeps going up, we just badly need some more teachers here, honestly. The numbers have grown to a point where we need to add a fourth. We've needed to add a fourth teacher for over a year. Probably we need 5 by now. So yeah, that's exactly like my experience, Liart, except for the not getting it for free, which makes it, you can imagine, even more painful. And I've brought it into them repeatedly to the Mac store, like, this computer can't do anything. It can't perform at anything. And they're like, well, make sure that you're not using more than 10% of like the CPU, and close all your programs and don't have anything running and restart every 20 minutes and it'll sort of like get by for a few minutes. And I'm like, dude, that is not how you sell your stuff. That is like the opposite. That is like how you get by if you've got like, a few tin cans that you paid $10 for and then you DIY, put them together, assemble them yourself at home, and then that's the product. But they're like, look at this powerful beast. And then they're like, but don't try and do anything with it once you've got it. All right, let's get into a game. 1e4. Some context to this game is this was the 4th round, and I had 1/2 out of 2 points, which is an unusual score to have after 3 rounds, but it is because the player had taken a bye. see. We get an Italian game. The player seems to know quite a bit of theory. Castles, rook e1, d6, h3, a6. So we're going to speed through the moves that they already knew for sure. a4. All right. Here I was out of book. I knew this was a move, but couldn't remember the move orders. The plans for black that I remembered were... And then the comment cuts off. So I'm not sure what the other plans were that they knew for black. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Tom, that's another question. You're asking how to understand how to gauge when you choose to graduate. You graduate when your rating says that you graduate. So if you're in the 1100 to 1200 cohort, you graduate when your rating goes over the, adjusted 1200 number, right? Or 1600 to 1700 when your rating goes over 1700. That's the only real way to graduate, is the main rating that you're following goes over the number to graduate. If you've done all the work and you haven't graduated, then that's where the idea I was talking about comes in, where we will help you. We'll try to give you a boost. But the one way to graduate is for your actual rating to go up. It's not to check off everything on the list. Checking off everything on the list is the work you need to do to get better enough for your rating to go up. But the way you graduate is for your actual rating to go up. All right, back to our Italians. So there's an alternative here to knight bd2 given, which is d4. Takes. See you, Krabby. And now black has a strong outpost for his knight on b4. I wanted to prevent this outpost. And so that's why white continues to maneuver with knight d2 and doesn't advance in the center. Bishop b6, knight f1, bishop e6, bishop b5. Wow, this player knows more fancy stuff than me, for sure. But we'll see if I have anything to add. I remember from Anisha's course that a benefit of black playing a5 is white has the b5 square. And then white can play d4, bishop d3. Whoa. Knight a7, forcing a damaging of my pawn structure. Yeah, this doesn't make sense here, this bishop b5, knight a7. I think this might be somehow some misapplied idea. I think this knight a7 might be a misapplied, or this bishop b5 might be a misapplied idea from Anisha's course. Because it just doesn't make sense here. Instead of trading our bishop for black's bishop, we're trading our bishop for black's knight while isolating and doubling these pawns. How is white's position at this point? Rook e8, d5, bishop d7, knight g3. Sack this pawn deliberately. I didn't think there was a sufficient way to defend it, and also realized that with that pawn falling, there's a clear static weakness of a passed pawn on the queen side, so I need to get active. I mean, the way to defend it would be with the queen. I didn't think there was a sufficient way to defend it. Okay, so this pawn's also attacked twice, right? So this would be the only move that comes to mind that's really defending those two squares. And then what's wrong with this? Okay. So I'm not clear why they didn't defend it. So let's say... let's try putting in a comment here. I don't see why you wouldn't defend your pawns with queen d3. All right, so let's see. Did I put that comment in? It looks like I may have. Or do I have to put a button? Now I've put the comment in. Okay, there we go. Okay. But even if white defended the pawns with queen d3, does it not seem like white's position is slightly not good already? Yes, it does, right? Like black's got the bishop here, this pawn's weak. This piece is fine. So I feel like white's in a bad position at this point here and has not put a question mark on any of white's moves up to this point. So it seems to me that white did not pick up on where they got into trouble this game. Like, I think they're in trouble and don't yet know it. Let's see how the game continues here as well. But probably I'm going to come back to that point. Bishop d7, e5. Whoa, lots of variations. I think this series of arrows is showing white's desire graphically to strike at the black king side. What do you guys think? What's your interpretation of this? It's got lines pointing at f7, h6, rook a3 looks like a rook lift to go join the devastation. Yeah. Looks pretty violent. Bishop d4. Didn't see this move in my calculations. I thought the dark squared bishop was too good a piece to trade off. I think this trade allows me counterplay. Bishop f4, developing and defending it. Good move. Dubious mark. Good. Bishop e5, b5. Rook d1, b4. I guess black did it maybe to remove some of those threats on f7. If we had to put ourselves in black's shoes, and why did they go trade off this knight for this bishop? Maybe to deal with sort of d6 kind of threats. Maybe, right? Okay, so here, push. So using that queenside majority, knight gets spooked. b3, yeah. To put the bishop back here looks reasonable. Double question mark. Light squares are now criminally weak. All right. I would reserve this kind of double question mark for a move that, hangs mate in 1. Or maybe pawn takes queen or something like that. Putting a double question mark on a controversial positional decision, to me, smacks of somebody who's way too concerned with positional stuff and needs to just calculate more. But I am from the school of just calculating moves. All right, knight g5. The idea, of course, was to bring this out. Retreating right after seems weird. My opponent was an Indian kid who was probably 10 to 12 years old, and after playing this move, he grimaced hard and immediately offered a draw. I wouldn't take this draw in principle, but definitely after this bad poker face. I calculated 3 moves here, none of them being the correct move. Yep, me too, Butch. Tactical blunders. 1 move, tactical blunders. Yeah. I mean, I suppose I could put it on a move like, if it's just a normal position, your opponent goes king h2, king g3, king f4 here, I might say like somewhere this plan is a double question mark plan. But I don't think it's ever come up that I put a double question mark on a positional idea versus like a tactical mistake. Bishop takes e5, and here we've got some nice analysis. We've got several moves. Knight f6 check is looked at. Rook takes e5 is looked at, and queen g3 exclam. I saw queen g3 after taking on e5, but not before. I was analyzing this afterwards with a 2,000 plus rated player and was able to calculate the following line. Mate threat, right? So G5, F4, kicking the knight. Yep, back. Oh, murder. Once F6 is gone. And again, we get the aggressive arrows. Nice. Hayden's definitely interested in attacking the king. But queen g3 should definitely be a candidate move if you're so excited about attacking the king and you've put the knight on h5. It's very consistent. You've got the bishop and the knight are striking at these squares, right? So this is a very classic move for getting in on that action with the queen. Bishop e5, f e5. In these positions, I didn't see the follow-up of queen g5. This was a big blow to my confidence as I've considered my calculations to not be up to par recently, and this confirmed that. I knew this was a play to win moment and failed miserably. Then I folded like a wet napkin. Queen g3, boom. Didn't see it coming. Man, so Hayden even had the idea of queen g3 in mind, but traded the knight first on e5, and this recapture, f e5, opens up the defense, which in this position, queen g3, there'd be no defense. Tries to avoid the queen trade. Gets poked. Some initiative comes in black's direction now. And then just kind of gave up, maybe even a little bit early. Okay. All right, so a couple points about this game. The most important in terms of the, what wins or loses the game is just this moment here where black offers a draw. Hayden correctly identifies it as kind of like an important moment. Calculates for a while. Looks at knight f6 check, bishop takes knight, and rook takes knight, including following those moves up with queen g3, but doesn't look at queen g3 on the first move, right? So that's the most important moment in the game is not looking at queen g3 directly here, probably. And then the second thing that I get overall from this game is that Hayden is far too positional of a thinker at the moment. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be a positional player or you should be a tactical player or you shouldn't be a tactical player, like that there's like a correct kind of player or not. Well, I am in a sense, but I'll tell you that my version of it is a little bit more complicated than that. I'm saying even positional players need to calculate sometimes, and even tactical players need to have some sense of the position at times, right? So Hayden is caught up in thinking about, weak color square, this or that, when it's just a position to be calculating, do I or don't I have, a direct threat or a mate or a this or that, right? Or like early in the game, this bishop b5 idea, right? Some fancy idea from Manisha's course where you can play d4 and keep this bishop and avoid that trade, blah, blah, blah. But after knight a7, you can't keep the bishop. It's trapped. It's a one-move trap on the bishop, right? So it's just like a complete lack of calculating because you're thinking too much about, highfalutin strategic ideas. You're allowed to think about those things even if they don't decide the game, like whether or not you see queen g3 is going to supersede everything, right? Because white has a bad position throughout the game, basically, and then black plays f6, weakening some squares. Even that's fine for black, but when they play this knight e5 move, they're allowing queen g3. So you can have a bad position and then still win the game. You're allowed to think about the positional factors even if they're not deciding your games, because thinking about positional stuff and strategy is fun and interesting to most of us. So everyone's allowed to think about strategy, even if it's not the proximate thing deciding your wins and losses. You're all allowed to. Okay. But Hayden desperately needs to be calculating more alertly. And that may partly involve relaxing a little bit, how much and how often they're thinking about this kind of strategic stuff. You can't spend all your time in the clouds about some, color complex, this and that kind of stuff if you're not noticing the threats on the board in front of you. So that we can really see in this game here. And then, so that's my one recommendation for playing Hayden. If you're out there at some point catching this review, is be more in the moment, concrete, the position in front of you, instead of like, how does this factor affect this other factor, the queenside majority, the square over here and that. Like, you're allowed to think about those things, but to an extent. There has to be some groundedness and just looking at the position in front of you and the threats. Then one suggestion for your game analysis, because one of the most important ways we improve is by analyzing our games, right? And you've put in comments on this game. So I'm going to give you one tip for working on your game analysis commentary or whatever that can help you for that work to be even more productive, so that every time you're analyzing a game of yours, you're improving. And that is when you think that there might be some kind of mistake, try to suggest an alternative. Okay? So, for example, if you notice that bishop b5 wasn't a good move because of knight a7 forcing a damaging of your pawn structure and also, trading off your bishop pair, if you noticed that at the time, then you could come back and try and suggest an alternative move instead of bishop b5, right? Or at some point, there came this f6 move that you said was really bad. Right here. You even gave it a double question mark. Well, if that's double question mark, what should black play instead of that, right? So you would try and suggest, here's a better move instead of that. Doing that is going to it's going to force you to be more rigorous about your judgments, because a lot of the times we think a move is bad and then it turns out we can't find a better move. So it's very, very important, if you think a move is wrong, to try and suggest a better move. And then, like, someone like me or anyone else who comes in and looks over it can see if you actually came up with a better move or not, and that can help advance your thinking and understanding to do that. Yeah. So those are my tips for you from this game. Thanks for sharing it with us. And yeah, good luck in your future and other games. Now, something for me to learn about Dojo 3.0. How and where do I click that the game has been reviewed so that Hayden can track it down? Go to Preferences or Settings maybe, and mark as reviewed. And then there will be a timestamp here that will allow Hayden to track down our Dojo stream of the same time. Thank you, Stan. Absolutely, Lumbra, yeah. Going over a game of yours with an FM counts as having a game reviewed with a plus, for sure. For sure. Also, Lumbra, ask your coach if they want to join the dojo and spar with Jesse, Coasty, and me. All right. I figured you would have, but you can give him my personal invitation that I need somebody more to practice with. So that'll either scare him off or entice him some more. One or the other. All right. So that's a game reviewed. I want to expand on a conversation with Tom from before, but I left it hanging for a moment, Tom, because I wanted to just go straight through that game for a chunk so that Hayden can go back later and see the review of his game without the schizophrenic. I'm answering 100 different questions and threading in and out of looking at his game. So Tom, whether or not you're still there, had a very important point, folks. Tom's rating went over the point from graduation, but they didn't click on graduate because Tom felt I still have holes in the game, right? So wanted to keep working through the tasks in their cohort. That's okay. Everybody's got some holes in their game. If your rating's gone up, graduate, folks. Trust in the program, like Jesse screams, but I will say in a much calmer tone and with some explanation instead of just yelling it at you till you say, like, he's saying that really convincingly, boss. I guess I'll trust in the program. I suggest you trust in things as much as you can. Put yourselves in the cohort that we say you should be in. If your rating goes down, you can demote yourself. If it goes up, you can promote yourself and feel comfortable that you're going to be getting a lot of, that you're going to be in the right place. You'll be sparring with the right people, doing the right work. The tasks that we think are important holes often carry over into the next cohort. So for example, if Tom felt like there were some endgame algorithms that they hadn't yet practiced, but their rating had gone over 1200 or 1400, whatever it was, and they were up into the next cohort. Guess what? A lot of the endgame algorithms show up for 3 or 4 cohorts just to make sure that people got them. We've gone back to try and make sure that the important stuff actually still comes back up. Now, if someone else in Tom's cohort had done that algorithm and got promoted, they don't have to reprove it. It won't re-show up for them. It'll only show up a certain selection of tasks that we think are important and that are potential holes if you haven't checked them off in the previous cohort. So we're here for you. You know what I mean? You can do a trust fall onto Jesse, Kostya, and I, and 9 times out of 10, you won't hit your head on the ground and black out because we'll have thought of it and we'll catch you, and we'll have that task that you need. Maybe by the time you've graduated 10 times, we'll have left you with a cracked skull, right? In that analogy. So go us. Which may seem worrisome, but on the other hand, that also means that you've graduated 10 times and gained 1,000 rating points. So something's going right to go with the cracked skull. I'm kidding. We obviously we can be fallible, and we are improving and fixing things with feedback all the time. But I think you'll get more out of the program if you lean into the trusting us and not wasting effort overthinking anything that you don't have to overthink, Try to trust us, just do what it says, and most of the time that'll work out. So Adam, I was looking at a game that had been put in a queue of games to review for the senseis from some people who signed up with some New Year's Eve promo, but then only sent the games to us recently. There was a New Year's promo where if somebody signed up, they could get a game of theirs reviewed, but to get a game reviewed, they had to submit a game with notes. So some people joined in January and then submitted their games more recently. So we're still trying to stay on top of going through all kinds of things, and maybe I should go mark it off that it's been done so Jesse or Kostya don't go do the same game. It's been marked off as reviewed here, but in our internal spreadsheet. So done. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Adam. How do you submit a game for Sensei review? Let's go have a look, because I think it's possible for anybody to submit a game. So let me go to my games and see if I can submit one for review. Go here, open up this game, and let me see if I can figure it out. Stan probably knows how to do it. If I don't. Okay, edit PGN tags, settings. Visibility public. Request Sensei review. All right. So here it is. I can show you. I'll have to switch my my thing for a moment. My view for a moment, but I'll show you. So let's pull this over here and expand the web page here, right? So now you see like the whole page. All right, so here's your game in the Chess Dojo website, right? You've uploaded the game and there should be comments, right? It doesn't have to be this many comments. This is another one where Jack Shirley had to collapse the variations. But in any case, there should be some comments, right? So you've looked at it first before we look at it. Never think for 30 minutes. Yeah, I know, Shirogorov. My working theory on this game was that my main mistake was thinking 30 minutes about two moves that were like, a tenth of a pawn different in value. But I learned more when I went over the game. Anyway, that's an aside. La Storia di Vic e Papa wants to know how to submit the game for Sensei review. So if I want this game Sensei reviewed, what I do is I go up here. You'll see there's like comments. Did anybody comment on the game? There's editing the PGN. There's the position database where I can see who else has had this position in the Dojo database, or I could go to, maybe a position further on. And look at that, there already are a few games here. C6 has been played once with a win for black. C5 has been played once with a win for white, and Bishop G4 once with a win for white. I think, honestly, I don't know who blue is with the 100% chance here. But let's say, assume blue is white and black is black. Okay, and then there's like the time where you could have the time graph, and then there's settings. And under settings, you can set whether or not other people can see the board, and you can request Sensei review. And if you request Sensei review, that'll put it into a queue for us, where we'll maybe like come around and see your game at some point. Yeah. What opening repertoires do we have for when you're playing the blue pieces? Not a lot just yet, Robo Mammoth, but we're working on some groundbreaking new openings for blue. Okay, do the older tasks still something? Sorry, I missed that question. Do the older tasks stay so you can do them later if you want? You mean when you get promoted, Butch? Only when you get promoted, you'll only see the tasks for your new cohort. So you'll only re-see tasks that we think that cohort should still do. Or you mean a task from 2.0 that's gone? Is that what you mean? Sorry. Stan is again answering better than me. Do the 2.0 tasks still display so you can do them later if you want? No. When you get promoted. Oh, okay. Yeah, when you get promoted, yes. If you have a task for your cohort, you're in the same cohort, and it was in 2.0 and it's not 3.0, it doesn't stay, and you don't need to do it anymore. It'll be something like a book was removed and replaced with another book. Or we moved the Philidor position up or down 100 point level, and added in some new endgame algorithms with minor pieces that were lacking. So in that case, you just have to go with the new program. It's improved, so don't worry about something from before. All right. Let's get David to bed, shall we? I've got a day tomorrow, you know. Some kind of day. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you had a good day. If you're in the program and haven't tried a tactics test yet, give one a try. Tell us what you think. Yeah. Otherwise, see you around soon enough. Time for bed for you as well, Liart. Yeah. See you next time. Cheers, everybody. Love to you all. And yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get on tomorrow night, but definitely on Monday.